On October the 25th and 26th, 1994, a conference on the diversity of the Scottish traditions of dance was held at the Albert Hall in Stirling. The conference was chaired by Evelyn Hood.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an extreme privilege to have been invited to chair this conference on the diversity of the Scottish traditions of dance. And it gives me the greatest possible pleasure to welcome such a large number. Wonderful. It's particularly gratifying to be able to welcome delegates not only from all over Scotland, but from the rest of the United Kingdom and from other countries too. And over the next 2 days, I hope you all get to know each other. We've representatives from all the dance and dance teaching organisations, from regional and district councils, from the Sports Council and from the Scottish Office. And there are many of you too who simply represent yourselves and your interest in our dances. I welcome also our many presenters and demonstrators who will have their own proper introduction in due course. Diverse means having variety. And when one looks at the programme before us for the next 2 days, variety is most certainly what we will have. In fact, an astonishing variety for such a tiny country and a comparatively small population to have produced. When in 1992 Patricia Eckersley, the Dance and Mime Officer at the Scottish Arts Council, first spoke to me of the Council's interest in finding out what might be done to help promote Scottish traditional dance, I expressed delight that such an initiative was at last being taken, and then counselled caution over the use of the phrase Scottish traditional dance. To give Patricia the due she richly deserves, she didn't flinch for one moment from her task of picking her way through that particularly Scottish maze. And it's in great measure thanks to her work that we're all here today. On the programme for the conference, you will note there are 2 stated objectives of conference: to present written and practical demonstrations of the different dance styles as they're practised today, and to publish a compendium of the papers presented at the conference. And Patricia has already told you what's to happen about that. Now, a very curious fact, and I'm perfectly happy to have this contradicted, but this may well be the very first occasion ever on which all current Scottish dance forms will be demonstrated to a single forum. Since the principal aim of the conference is to raise the universal awareness of the rich diversity of the styles of dance within Scotland, by demonstrating and describing all of these to you, it is hoped that you'll go out from here like missionaries to spread the word. Now we've much to see and hear and enjoy in the next 2 days. We will see not just dancing, but the sheer joy of that form of human expression. And together, we must put our minds to work on how to promote the joy of the dance.
The first demonstration, which was Highland dancing, was introduced by Billy Forsyth, Chairman of the Scottish Official Board of Highland Dancing.
sometimes we don't always agree with the views of the opposite party concerned, but at least the conference does give us an opportunity to get together and to discuss things.
Pulling up the sleeves in preparation for work. Then Alison will retrieve the broom from the shelf. She will commence to swab the decks. She will ditch the broom and then pull down the sleeves of the tunic when work has been completed. All telling a fairly vivid and explicit story. Another step I would like Alison to perform is called the cutlass drill. The story behind this step is that in days of yore, as well as the deck duties performed by the sailor, their everyday work was from time to time interrupted by the onslaught of pirate ships. Therefore, every crew member were instructed to defend themselves from such an eventuality. And this is demonstrated in the step called cutlass drill. During this step you will see the dancer remove the cutlass from its scabbard, execute various thrusts and parries in defence of oneself before replacing the cutlass back to its original place of scabbard.
ideas about what Scottish dancing is. Let's hope there's as much listening going on as talking.
Fiddlers, your peens and tempers fixed, and rosit wheel your fiddlesticks, and banish vile Italian tricks, and hoop your choral. Not forties with piano tricks, keys, colours,
This was followed by an impromptu display from Max Mellon. The final presentation on the first day was a demonstration of a lady step dance, the King of Sweden. In the evening, an informal ceilidh was held in the Albert Hall, Stirling. The conference delegates were joined by members of the community.
One is a jig, and it's called the flirt or Ceilidh, and its source is a dancing master of the 19th century. We've been dealing with the dancing masters, and this in fact is attributed to the Lows, a family of dancing masters who taught in many places throughout Scotland in the 19th century and into this century, and this is their jig, the flirt or Ceilidh, and it's danced to the tune The Pleasures of the Night. play, and it's a very well-known dance, and very popular amongst country dancers, and it's the Glasgow Highlanders. Now this of course is a dance which is actually played by a dancing teacher in Glasgow by name Walter McFarlane Gillis, who taught in Glasgow from about 1890 until about 1908. He says that he composed this dance for the 105th Volunteer Brigade, and it was danced first of all, we don't know quite when, at one of their assemblies in Glasgow, and it's quite likely that he composed the tune as well, because he, as well as teaching dancing, he also taught music in Glasgow. This is the Glasgow Highlanders. Alan is from Larbert, and this is his dance, and it's the real Summer Wooing, and this is published in our recent book this year. Alan, in fact, as a teacher of country dancing and as a composer of dancing, is following in a family tradition, because one of his forebears, Peter Baird by name, was a dancing master in Falkirk just at the end of the last century and at the beginning of this one. This is Summer Wooing. When Alan was asked why it was the title was Summer Wooing, he said, well, he just happened to have seen a poem written by a not very well-known Persian poet called Robert Nichol, and he has a poem called Summer Wooing. So that's the reason for the title of the dance, Summer Wooing. presentation. Thank you very much. Thanks to the dancers and to the musicians. Thank you very much.
The second day of the conference saw a lively and entertaining presentation on Shetland dancing by James Balfour. The very knowledgeable Max Mellon introduced a fascinating presentation on Hebridean dancing. Several excerpts are shown here.
We have the whole point of those feet. Yes. Start again. Into beats. The accentuation is on the heel of the beat behind all the time. And then we have, for want of a better name, a whole point of close feet, or a whole. They have rockings. Yeah. And then they have shuffles. They're used to these single shuffles.
Deputies, we have Chapel, Glasgow, Ceilidh, and then we've got Shetland. And if you do that, we'll see you get the organised final.
The final presentation of the conference was a display by members of the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, and they were introduced by Dr. Alistair McFadgen. Finally, what did the delegates think of this, the first conference held on the diversity of the Scottish traditions of dance?
Because we do face issues, we do face problems, and I think it's always interesting to hear those kind of things discussed from the point of view of other people who are interested in traditional dancing. So from the point of view of sharing experience, I think it is very, very valuable.
This conference brings together so many different aspects of traditional dance in Scotland, and it's good that we as Highland dancers can listen to all the other styles of dancing and listen to how they are working together, and hopefully we'll be able to work together with them to show a broad base of traditional dance in Scotland.